Welcome back to another exciting episode of Achieving Failure, the podcast where life meets nostalgia. I am but your humble host, Chris, and this week we're actually visiting Ringwood, New Jersey, as we're meeting up some old friends and kind of reminiscing about some old stories. This week, it's kind of an interesting one because they always say you never want to meet your heroes, but we kind of met a bunch of heroes that we looked up to for, several years. We've known them for decades at this point. But it was in all the most unlikely places. I'm talking about the band Sevendust. Before we get started, I just want to kind of say in the pun of achieving failure, or as I would like to now say, as we strive to achieve success but fail in spectacular fashion, the video actually got ruined, and I unfortunately only have the audio. Luckily, I recorded on a separate tape. So in the meantime, we are going to entertain you with me driving around with some kind of bare bones stock footage of some of the random places I recorded when I was driving around Ringwood as backfill. So, sorry, but if you like our content, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and enjoy the show. I've been doing this for like 40 episodes, and not one has come out actually good. It's been an absolute disaster.
Oh, kind of like my life. Great.
Yeah. So you were like, oh, liquid courage, blah, blah, blah. I said, so this is the most awkward part for me because... you know how many
and you're
times,
blushing.
you know how many times I actually have to do an intro? I probably do an intro about 6 times until I actually get it right. So it's funny because I've been doing this for 2 years and I still can't get it down. So,
well, intro to me, I'm batshit crazy. I'm a Gemini.
You're single.
Very single. Don't want to date.
Ready to mingle.
No, I am not ready. No. Take that away. This is on camera too. They can see me giving you the middle finger. They see it. They know what this means.
All right, so welcome to another exciting episode of Achieving Failure, the podcast that brings you
Cheers.
nostalgia mixed with some life stories. I am yet but your humble host, Chris. This week we are joined by the gracious bestie from the Eastie.
Bestie from the Eastie.
A longtime friend since we were in preschool, Christ the King.
4 years old. She is 35 years now.
Yeah.
Fuck, we're getting old.
The nickname that I have given her, Fluffernutter, precedes her, Miss Genevieve. If you have any sort of financial advice, questions.
No, financial aid. As in student loans, grants, like...
Reach out to her.
Don't ask me to, what's a quick way to pay off your credit cards? Don't ask me.
You still got a business?
Technically, I do. I don't use it.
Oh.
I paid the $400 for the TIN number, tax ID number, whatever it is, but I haven't really used it.
No.
I haven't had time. Been working too much.
She also owns a business, so if you want financial aid, we'll figure it out after.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week I wanted to touch base because you and I, it was kind of one of those weird. We've known each other, even though we'd known each other forever for like 30 plus years. We really weren't the best of friends until I decided to pick up and move when I was 19, go into the military, come back, and then basically. I ran into you at
the Forge?
Flips.
No, it was at the Forge.
Flips.
Was it at Flips?
It was at Flips. I know exactly where it was. I was in the back of the bar, walking forward towards the front, and I have pictures because I'm going to talk about the Flips in a bit. I took pictures when I was at Flips.
All right,
just for this reason.
Well, we didn't have like smartphone cameras back then.
No, I was there a couple days ago. I took pictures.
Oh,
so
I thought you were.
No, I was going to talk about it because I took pictures because I was going to specifically talk about Flips. But I was there. I was in the back of the bar, and I was walking forward, and I knew nobody. The only people that I knew were long gone, and I don't even know if I even went to that bar because I never even went to Flips because when I left I was 19, so when I came back I was already 23, 24.
And we would hang out at the Forge with Cassie, the bartender.
That's after. So you and I met at Flips.
I never used to go.
It was
only like Wednesday
it
nights
was
that I would
Bud
go to
Light
Flip.
Wednesdays.
No, it was dollar beer Wednesday.
Yeah, it was like what? It was dollar beer
dollar
Wednesday.
draft beer.
And that's where I met you. And I said, "Oh my God, Jen!" And you were the only person that I knew. And
is that when we started hanging out?
Yeah, and I knew you, and I
you
immediately
used me.
latched. No, I didn't. I didn't use you. I just recognized. Okay, maybe I recognized you. I recognized you, and I said, "Thank God, a familiar face." And you and I started talking about this and that, and we actually wound up hitting it off really well. And that's when we were just like, okay, we transferred to the Forge.
Yeah,
and that's when I was working at the car dealership. You and I wound up getting an apartment together because, I mean, we were in our mid-20s, and
no, that was our early 20s. That was 2012.
Yeah, but I was still like 24.
If we were we were like 22.
No, I got out of the military.
No, hold on.
I got out when I was 23, so I was 24. At least 24.
Okay, so mid-20s.
And
Jesus Christ, we're old. Motherfucker.
Yeah. And what wound up happening was I wound up getting a real job at New Jersey Transit, and that actually paid the bills so you and I can actually get a place together. And that kind of kicked off this whole slew of just absolute insanity.
Fuckery. No, it was before that because we went to Boston before we moved to
Clifton.
Yeah.
This is before we got. I mean, there was a lot of stuff we did before.
Ooh,
but
hold on. Hold this for a second. Okay. Here's work.
We'll just bring the bottle over here.
That's what I'm gonna do.
So, no, that was actually there was a lot of stuff prior. But what wound up actually,
a lot of stuff.
more or less,
a lot of fuckery.
Yeah, a lot of tomfoolery was happening, and me and my friend Joey also did, or I don't want to say Joey, Joseph. We also did a kind of an episode about how he and I did a lot of stupid shit.
You want me to get you the ice?
No, I'm all right.
Okay.
And a lot of different things kind of came to fruition, but to start off this nonsense was you played a lot of pool.
Yes.
And well, I want to lightly touch on that real quick. You were playing pool at it's no longer, but it's now called Roar the Crowd. And it's no longer there. But
the building is there.
The building is there.
Roar the Crowd is not there. It is now the Celtic Knot or the Celtic Knot, depending on how you want to pronounce the word.
But it used to be Roar the Crowd. But you met somebody and you called somebody's and you called me like that night and you said you need to come to Roar the Crowd, and I said
nope.
The hell is Roar the Crowd? You said the bar across from Burger King in Haskell, and I said that shithole. I'm not. We were living in Clifton now, mind you.
No, that was the month we were moving.
But we were.
No, we were still in Ringwood. That was the whole month that we were moving because it was October. It was the middle of September.
Maybe I was living in Nicole's basement. Maybe that's why.
No,
because
you were here in Ringwood.
Are you sure?
100%.
Maybe.
You might have spent a lot of time in
her... but she calls, and I remember I had to drive, and I was like, I'm not driving to fucking Haskell. And I was like, do I really have to? She goes, you need to come see these people. And I said, I
need to meet these
do
people.
not care to meet these people. Mm-hmm. You are at what was claimed to be the Joe. I swear, I thought this bar was the story behind the accused of Jodie Foster. Have you ever seen that movie
No.
where Jodie Foster was
You think I have time to watch TV?
sexually assaulted on a pinball table? And
Nope.
everybody was like, "Oh, that was Roar the Crat." It's not Roar the Crat. I actually did some research. That was actually up in Massachusetts. Completely, it's not even in the right
I don't
state.
even think Jodie Foster ever even stepped foot in New Jersey. So any which way.
So, it was actually based on somebody. It was a biography.
Anywho.
So I was like, I'm not going to that rundown piece of shit bar.
It was rundown.
So,
Very rundown. There's a reason.
I would love to, before I can describe the bar, I would love for you to tell how. Give me a quick a recap of you were doing pool. You were doing billiards.
I was in the pool league. I was in the APA pool league. What, the night? That faithful night? So, at the time, the bar had 3 pool tables. So, and I was in the APA league. So, the bar is awkwardly shaped because you have in one corner, and I don't even want to say a corner, it's like more shaped like a ladle. So, on the handle, you have one pool table with part of the bar, and then you hit the main door. And then once you hit the main door, then it opens and there's 2 more pool tables and the rest of the bar. So typically when you're, I don't want to say typically, but in my eyes, when you're shooting pool and you're on the 2 pool tables next to each other, you're completely ignoring what's going on the other side of the entry door.
Like the handle side.
Yeah, on the handle side. You're completely, because that's just like meh. Like meh. So I went to go pay my tab and I see this group of guys sitting at the bar and I'm looking at them because they're very out of place, and it's a regular type of bar. Like only regulars because it was so run down.
And mind you, being Haskell, no offense to Haskell Wanacue, regulars there are like Rufus, Doug.
No.
What?
You spent too much time in Vegas. Shush. Just like you didn't want to come out last night because it was raining.
It was thundering, and I was scared.
It's raining. It wasn't a freaking blizzard. Jesus, pussy. So, anywho,
we'll get to the hurricane in a minute.
So I'm going to pay my tab after pool league was done, and you see this group of guys sitting at the bar, and I'm like, I look over and look at the bartender as I'm like signing my check. And I asked him, I was like, why does that look like Sevendust? And he's like, 'cause it is. I was like, what? Did you just say Sevendust?
No, this is what, 2012? Yeah, this is 2012.
2012. So they had done the song Angel Sun for their friend. Oh shoot, what was his name? In Sublime. They done the song.
Was it Sublime or was it Snot? Because I know they did a
it was
tribute.
Sublime.
Because I know they did a tribute to Snot too, I believe.
They did. No, they did do a. I know Angel Sun was for the person who passed away in Sublime, and I'm completely drawing a blank on specifics because I got my happy juice. And that song actually helped me through a lot of other friends' deaths that I was going through at the time, because at the time that was like the height of heroin overdoses in our area. So anywho, I look over, I'm like, is that Sevendust? Because it looks, the bartender's like, yeah, it is Sevendust. And I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And he was like, go talk to them. I was like, I can't. He's like, no, go talk to them, they're really chill. I'm like, I can't. So I go up, I talk to them, and they are the utmost coolest, down to earth band. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. After that night, I wasn't sure if, like, because they were in Butler but they were recording their Black Out the Sun album. And I wasn't sure if they wanted to let their presence be known and, like, have a whole bunch of fans, like, be like, hey, or if they wanted to just be on the DL. So I was like, so that's when I called you. I was like, Chris, you need to come. But that sparked the beginning of basically a month of me, you, and some other friends basically hanging out with Sevendust. Like, I would go to their studio, hang out with them. It was... I don't even know how to describe it.
So real quick, so Angel's Son, not to interrupt, was actually what I mentioned. Angel's Son with an
S-O-N.
apostrophe was actually for Lynn Strait, which is an American singer, and James Lynn Strait was an American singer for the lead vocalist and lyricist for new metal band Snot. So it was Snot because Corey Taylor also did so pretty much after he passed, Snot put out a tribute album which they had everybody, and I was thinking the one song I was getting confused, it was actually Corey Taylor actually did a song for him also. But Angel's Son wound up being on the album, I believe it was Home, and
See, this is where I suck with music and albums. I know music.
and that's where that song came about because my girlfriend at the time, Nicole, same thing. Talked to LJ. I was like, oh my god, Angel's Song was like the best song. It helped me. Surprisingly enough, like Angel's Song to this day is still very relevant. It's still actually really good. It's very relevant and actually helps a lot of people for what it is.
It is. It does.
And as you were mentioning, you called me. I came down and sure shit, I came in and I was there. Like,
that's seven.
Mind you, not the most familiar with Sevendust. Obviously, everybody knows the singer. Everybody knows the frontman. They don't really know the rest of the band unless you're hardcore. I'm not that hardcore. I just know who LJ is, and I kind of the rest of the band looks familiar. I walk in and I see Jen, and I see the rest of the band, and I said, "Huh."
Yeah. And I wasn't lying.
And as you mentioned, this now becomes the rise and fall of Roar the Crowd. Bar. Well, it becomes the rise and fall of Roar the Crowd within like 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time.
4.
Because was it 4?
It was 4.
Because
it started. I want to say it started in the second week of September, because I always used to go to New Hampshire camping Labor Day weekend. So I think when I came back, because I know 2012 was the last time that I went camping.
But you called and I showed up and you were like, get over here. And I showed up and I said, holy shit. And honest to God, like you said, super chill dude. Wound up sitting there just drinking beers, shooting the shit.
Just and regular guys.
Crazy enough.
Regular guys.
Next thing I know, the next night, I said, how long are you guys going to be in for? I said, like you said, we're recording a new album in Riverdale.
No, Butler.
Was it Butler?
It was Butler. Because I know exactly where
because I asked, I said...
I went to the studio.
Because I asked, I said, what are you doing here? Yeah. He goes, we're actually staying at the Holiday Inn across the street.
Yep.
And we were like, we wanted to grab a drink. So we saw there was a bar. So we went across the street and we walked in and we all said,
Before because they saw there was a bar across the street. They asked the hostess at the
Oh.
at the hotel, and they were like, "Oh, you don't want to go there. People get murdered there."
Yeah. So LJ goes, "This is a place where, yeah, you probably get stabbed." And I looked around. I swear to God, this is my first time ever walking into this place going, yeah, you're getting stabbed in this place. This is, no, you have no, fuck this place. So, word got out. I actually stopped. So we were asking, like, how long are you going to be in town for? He goes, next couple of weeks. I said, okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I got work, so I actually have a job too. So,
Yeah,
but I would love to come by and visit. And for a couple days going forward, we would stop by. However, word immediately got out, and
that's exactly what I didn't want, because
and this is where everything escalated, because Roar the Crowd probably saw a whole 4 regulars.
I don't even remember.
There was probably 4 regulars.
Years ago.
There's probably about 4 regulars.
Well,
when I talked to the bartender,
minus the pool league.
Minus the pool league, there's probably 4 regulars. Now, mind you, when I talked to the bartender, he says, I got Michelob Ultra Light.
They had a really
I got
poor
Budweiser. I got Jim Beam. And I got tequila.
No, he had Jack Daniels.
He had Jack Daniels. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now, mind you,
I know I was drinking
the next day,
they had a full
200 people ascended on that bar.
No, you're talking about, okay, so
Word got out.
We're not that fast, and I didn't want it to get out that fast, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't know if they were just like trying to be on the DL, if they were trying to chill. Like, I really actually
Well, you also
asked
weren't
them.
the only person there, so we can't just blame Jen. There were other people that we can blame.
Okay, good. Don't blame me.
No. Jen is not the fault for Roar of the Crowd. Everybody else was.
Well, the fallout for Roar of the Crowd was Roar of the Crowd. Because you had shit leaking from the ceiling, and you literally walked in the front door and you sunk because the floor was rotted out. So they just kept on putting cardboard on top of it, but that's where it's leaking from. So I could only imagine their first impression after the hostess from the hotel says, "No, don't go there. You're going to get murdered." You walk in the door. It's leaking from the ceiling and you sink.
So anyway, a couple of days go by. We're now talking. We're talking like 100, 200 people ascend on this bar.
It wasn't that, maybe.
Oh, no. There was at least 100.
No.
Yeah.
You can't fit 100 people.
Oh, there was a fucking 100 people
with
in
the
that
3 pool
The
tables.
the guy literally ran out of booze. The guy was like, I ran out of everything.
That was the VIP. So once they were done with the album, they did a VIP show. That was the weekend that we were moving. And everyone's like, "Oh, you didn't get tickets?" I was like, why would I pay hundreds of dollars to do exactly what I've been doing with them for the last month? That's when they ran out of booze.
Okay, because the poor guy was asking me, he goes, I've never had these many people in my bar. What do I get? I said, you need to get this, you need to get this, you need to get this.
They always ran out of stuff.
I'm sure the guy loaded up on booze and beer and everything. And before I get to the climax or the finale of this whole thing, talking to him, talking to LG and all these guys, dude, honestly, down to earth guys, because mind you,
They're
have people,
awesome.
mind you have drunk people. That's all you.
Yeah.
But he goes, okay, thank you, I appreciate you, thank you. And
But no,
I'm just sitting there going,
chill.
I'm
They're
just
chill
sitting there
as
going,
fuck. Like, you can actually sit there and have a real conversation with them.
and that's the one thing I asked. I said, dude, you've been doing music all day. You've been doing music for the last 20 fucking years.
I remember that conversation.
What how is life outside of music? And to see somebody's eyes just lighten up and go, let me just tell you everything about my life. He was showing me pictures of his kids. He was showing me
Yeah.
pictures of his family. He was telling me about where he lives. And mind you, I'm not going to go into detail about where he lives or what his
Of course
family
not.
looks like, stuff like
I
that.
probably looked that up on Wikipedia.
Yeah, but it was
whatever.
just like he was just showing me pictures on his phone, scrolling through his page. He's got a
Yeah.
beautiful family, beautiful wife, telling me about all these people and all these friends that he had, and he was just like, it was like a relief for him to go,
Somebody actually cares about me.
yeah, this is who I am
Yeah.
instead of music. And
Yeah.
I said, dude, I already enjoy your music. I just want to know everything else. Just because out of curiosity, I just want to shoot the shit, have a conversation. If you're one of those, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, cool, whatever. But dude, even the producer, everybody in that band was super cool.
And you remember the photographer, not the videographer, Davo?
Maybe.
Oh, if I showed you
I was
a
very
picture-
inebriated half the time.
Yes, you were.
Yes.
As well as I. But it was funny because so during their whole month of being in New Jersey recording their new album, they also hired a videographer to capture like those special moments. Well, I kind of say it like it's kind of retarded, but to show that life outside of just their music, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to assume. So through that month, whatever. So the other was it right before? Because I just saw Sevendust in concert at Madison Square Garden. By the way, guys, if you ever happen to see this, you guys rocked, as you do always. And I was in the pit screaming "Murder Bar," but you probably couldn't hear me because I was.
That's what I said. You got to hold up a sign.
All right,
Remember
well,
me?
what-
Murder Bar.
Murder Bar in the house.
Murder Bar.
How about this? When we go to a Sevendust concert together, we'll hold up a sign. Murder Bar in the house. Oh, we never even got to explain what Murder Bar is.
Well, the whole Murder Bar, from what LJ was explaining, the whole Murder Bar was... Now, mind you, I read the lyrics and it doesn't sound like the bar, but...
No, it does.
Does it?
It does.
So,
So,
I'll let you handle this.
all right. So, looking on the outside end, like, it's a bar that you can go to. It's a regular bar. It's not like a person coming off of the highway looking for a piece of dinner and like a drink or whatever. You're not going to go to that place because, according to the hostess at, I was just going to say 7-Eleven. What's the hotel name?
Holiday.
Holiday Inn. You're going to get murdered.